Hello folks, so today I'm going to tie a wee hare's ear nymph. The videos up until now I've been trying to keep them pretty simple, and every fly I tie I add something that I haven't done previously, and this wee fly is going to be the same. There's going to be create a Dublin loop and use that to create a thorax, and have the dubbing at the thorax a wee bit longer, just to represent legs. Now the Dublin loop, much the same as anything else, there's not much to it. It's more around a wee bit of practice, but I'll do my best to explain it in simple enough terms. But that's a wee fly that's taken countless trout, and one that everybody should have in their box. So as I say, I'll try my best to explain it in the simplest terms possible. So I'll get kicked on and get started. The hook and the vise is a Camazon B175, and I've mashed the barb on a size 10. The thread I'm going to use is Gordon Griffiths 12 sheer in red. So we'll just get started behind the eye of the hook. Run on a few turns. Come on and trim that excess away. Now, because there's no bead on the fly, I'm going to add, this is lead-free wire. So I'll just keep the wire on the spool, take off about an inch and a half, and start winding that on. So you want about 5 or 6 turns of the lead wire, and it's just to give that enough width to pull the fly down, same as you would have with a bead in the fly. So wind on our lead, slide that up a wee bit towards the eye. Now you want this back round about an eyelet from the head of the hook. Come on then with our thread and give a few turns over that lead just to secure it in. Run the thread towards the eye, bring the thread back round again and run it down over the lead, and just give a few wraps back and forward over that lead just to secure that in. So run the thread on down to the rear of the hook, around about the middle of where, between our hook point and where the barb would be on the hook. The next part in the fly then is our tail. There's a range of different things that you can use for the tail. You can use a piece of pheasant tail, a wee bit of partridge, there's a bit of bronze mallard here. You can use a bit of mallard, but for this fly in particular, I'm just going to use this as just a wee patch of rabbit pelt. So come on in. So just knock off my wee bit of rabbit fur. Come on in. The longer hairs here at the front, you want to hold them tight in your finger and thumb, and come on and strip all that under fur off. And just keep stripping at that to get the under fur away from it. So this is my wee clump of rabbit here. So you want to keep grabbing this and pulling that fur away, just to thin out the hair that we're going to tie on. So this is me wee clump of rabbit here. Now just come on and any of them longer hairs, strip them out. So you want to make your tail round about 2/3 of the length of the shank of your hook. So just come on and measure out. So there's 1, 2, and then the tail. So you want to make it, as I say, 2/3 of the length of the shank. Come on, pinch and loop, and a couple of turns over just to hold it. Take a wee look through and just make sure the tail's sitting straight with the shank, and then run our thread up shank of the hook to where we stop with that, with the first turn of lead. Come on then with our scissors and knock away that excess. Wee run of wax over the thread. Just come on then and tie down all that rabbit fur nice and tight so we get a nice flat surface to run our dubbing and our rub up. So once you come back down the tail again, give 2 wraps in front up the shank, come round and underneath the tail, give another 2 wraps forward, and the same again, come on and wrap underneath the tail, and that just kicks the tail of the fly up off the shank. So the next part in the fly now is our gold rub, and what I have here is oval gold tinsel, vineyard number 14. So I'll just come in and remove my bit of tinsel, lay that down against the shank, come on and punch and loop that on, run my tight turns up to where that bump in the lead is. Return our thread back down to where we want our tail to start. Now, the body on the fly, this is Hares here Dublin. There's a wee flake of gold flash through it, not very much, just a subtle touch of flash. Now, if you don't have the Hares here with gold flash, just ordinary Hares here Dublin will do. So just come in and dub on a wee short noodle, around about 2 inches long, and try and tipper the noodle that it's thin at the start and then thickens up as it goes towards the end of the dubbing noodle. So come on and give a full turn over that. Come on then, and as you're wrapping on each turn, just give that Hares here dubbing a wee twist round just to keep it on nice and tight to the body of the fly, and run that up to where our lead started. So our gold rub, just bring the gold rub in the opposite direction, and you want at least 3 turns coming up the rear half of the body of the fly, and bring that up to where we stop with our thread. Give a couple of turns over, then a turn in front and a turn behind, a turn in front and a turn behind, and that locks on our tinsel. Come on the scissors and trim away that gold tinsel. So come round in, and I like to go round on any longer hairs here just to keep the body on nice and thin and tight. Just come on, and any of them longer hairs that's standing out in the body, just come on and trim them away, and that just helps with the look of the thorax at the front of the fly. So the thorax covering the fly is made up of pheasant tail fibres. Now you want to remove about 8 of these fibres. So come on and pull the 8 pheasant tail fibres out 90 degrees from the stalk. strip them away, turn them over, and you want to take away the tips of the pheasant tail. So come on and trim them away, and then the pheasant tail that we have left, lay that down over the top of the shank of the hook. Come on and pinch and loop that on, and give a couple of turns to secure, and then just come on and with your nail or the top of your thumb, just come on and flatten them down so that when we pull that over, we're getting a flat thorax cover. So come back on them with our wax, give a wee run of wax, and run that thread up, tying down that pheasant tail tight, and run the thread towards the eye, and then return the thread back down. So our Dublin loop starts from here. So how you form the Dublin loop is pull your bobbin straight out towards yourself, and you only bring it out about 10 inches. Put your finger in the middle of the thread and double that over the top of the shank and give a full turn. On the second turn, bring the bobbin round and behind the Dublin loop and give a full turn over the shank. When you come back over again, just start winding your thread up towards the eye to where we're going to tie off our Dublin rope whenever we wind on the thorax. So you want to stop about an eyelet back from the eye of the hook and just come on and throw a half hitch or a granny knot on behind the eye of the hook, and that stops the thread bouncing forward while we're bringing up this Dublin loop. Now that loop you can let go, that's not going anywhere. You'll see I let the loop go to run the thread or they tie off the knot at the head of the fly. So this is my Dublin spinner here. So hook on the Dublin spinner to hold the thread. This is Dublin wax. Just come on and give a run of Dublin wax down that thread just to hold the Dublin that we're going to dub on. So come back on with our Hares here. Now you only want to take off the slightest wee pinch and slide it up the two strands of Dublin that we created and the loop. So same again, another wee pinch and slide that up, and just keep adding wee nips of, and as I say, it's only the smallest of wee nip. You don't want to put this on too thick, and just keep sliding that up until you form a Dublin rope between the two strands of thread. Something around about 3 inches long, 4 inches long. So this is the length that I've created of the Dublin. So what you want to do is between the spinner and where the Dublin has stopped, come on and set your finger across the thread and then spin your Dublin spinner clockwise and let that tighten up. As it spins, it'll tighten over your finger and it'll create this Dublin rope here. It's like a Dublin brush. So give that a good spin round until that forms up on our Dublin brush. So start and wind our Dublin rope on, and as you come up, you want to pull those fibres back towards the rear of the hook. Every turn you give, same as winding on a hackle, every turn you give, just come on and encourage those fibres to go back. Don't worry about the the way it looks at the moment. As long as we get this stubborn rope on and get it tied off, then we can look at tidying up the material in the thorax. So run that up to where we stop with our thread. Hold your dubbin spinner towards you. Come on then and give 2 or 3 tight turns over the top of that dubbin spinner. Come on then and knock away that excess thread. Give a wee run of wax down our thread in the bobbin holder. Grab all our dubbin, pull that back from the head, and come on and bring the thread back from the eye of the hook and run it back about 3 or 4 mil back from the head of the hook. So come on then with our scissors and just tidy up any of them loose fibres that's at the head of the fly. So our thorax, come on then, and what you want to do is these longer fibres here, you want to come on and pull them down towards the bottom of the hook down each side, and it's just to give us a nice space over the top to bring our thorax cover. So once you get them pulled down, come on with your thorax cover. You want to bring this over as flat as possible and giving a good width of the pheasant across the back of the nymph. Come on then with our thread and give 2 or 3 tight turns over that pheasant tail. Pull that back towards the rear of the hook. Come on in front of the pheasant tail and give 3 or 4 tight turns on the front of it. Come on then with our scissors and knock away those excess pheasant tail fibres. So give another wee run of wax. Bring the thread to the eye and then bring the thread back and tie down that pheasant tail fibres nice and tight to form a nice head. And then with our whip finish tool and just give her 3 or 4 turn whip finish at the head of the flight. Come on and trim away that excess. So come on then with our Velcro, and be careful when they're using the Velcro that you're not pulling the pheasant fibres. Just come on and all that. Here's your dubbin that we put on with our dubbin loop. Just come on and give that a brush out and down towards the bottom of the flight. So these fibres that's here, just come on and shorten them up to whatever length you want to make them yourself. Now don't shorten them up too much. You want that a good wee bit of length on it, because that just gives the impression of legs at the thorax of the fly. Now the last thing that we want to do before we finish, this is UV resin from Blob and Buzzer. So there's a stray hair there. Look, I'm just going to come on and trim that away before put on the resin. So come on then with the UV resin, and the pheasant tail in the back you want to come on and give a wee layer of resin over that phasing tail and the thread at the head of the fly. So just come on and, as I say, a wee light run over that phasing tail and up as far as the eye. Come on then with our UV light and set that resin. As I say, I'll set this to touch dry. You'll maybe set it for longer. Now the last thing to do, there's another wee longer hair. Just come on then with our tan varnish. And give the head of the fly a coat of varnish, and that just brightens up that red thread at the head of the fly. Now you don't have to use red thread, you can use whatever colour thread you want. I prefer the red because it gives a bit of a hot spot at the head of the fly. So the head's varnished, so just come on then with, this is only a wee needle, and run that through the eye just to make sure the eye of the hook is clear. So there we go folks, that's our Hares ear nymph. That wee fly has accounted for umpteen number of trout. I know this is way back at the very start that I didn't want to come on with anything that was too complicated to start with. Just trying to build up different wee things as I went along through the video. So that's the use of a Dublin loop, and as I say, that's a fly there that everybody should have in their fly box. So thanks for watching folks, and until the next time, tight lines.